I'm Douglas Mason, CEO of Naturally Splendid, symbol NSP on the TSX Venture Exchange. Naturally Splendid is a biotechnology and consumer products company focused on the global cannabis and health markets. Naturally Splendid is expanding distribution in this rapidly growing market with products currently in Canada, the USA, South Korea, Germany, and Australia. To view our comprehensive company presentation and for more information, please visit our website at naturallysplendid.com.
Welcome to the Goddard Report. Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is award-winning investigative reporter Bob Mackin, the publisher of thebreaker.news. Welcome back to the show, Bob.
Thank you.
Shades of Bingogate. An NDP cabinet minister plans to hold a party fundraiser at a casino?
Yeah, Harry Baines, who is an MLA in Surrey, and he's the Minister of Labour, is going to be appearing May 23rd for one night only, at the Gateway Casino's Grand Villa Casino in Burnaby. He's going to be there with the President of the BC Federation of Labour and the Secretary-Treasurer of the BC Federation of Labour. And they're going to be there. They're charging $100 to get in until May 1st. Then the prices go up to $125. This is bad optics all around for any cabinet minister in this government, in this environment, to be holding a fundraiser at a casino. There are many other places to hold fundraisers that will not draw any attention. This one is, and it's not good optics for the NDP, especially since it came to power in 2017 and David Eby went on a crusade that is supported widely by the public to clean up casinos, to clean up British Columbia. There's a campaign right now that is lobbying the NDP to call a public inquiry on money laundering, because we've seen the connections that have been dug up by police and dug up by Peter German in his report for the provincial government that connects casino money laundering with dirty money from China to the real estate market, to the illicit drug trade and the fentanyl overdose crisis. This is a matter of life and death. And one of the unions that is part of this campaign to bring about a public inquiry is actually BC Government Service Employees Union, they're a member of the BC Federation of Labour. They've been quite vociferous on this, and now you've got the top Labour lobbyists essentially in the province who are representing the labor unions and unionized people in the province, both private and public, going to appear at a fundraiser for the NDP in the end of May. Didn't get a response from Laird Cronk or Suzanne Skidmore directly from BC Federation of Labour, but the executive director sent me a statement saying that they're longtime members of the NDP and they're happy to take part in an event at a unionized restaurant. The restaurant's called Personas, and that's at the Grand Villa Casino, which is run by Gateway Casinos, which is a company that is actually based in Burnaby at that casino. That's their flagship casino. It's a company that is actually expanding in Lower Mainland. They have the license for the Newton Community Gaming Center. Now, that license is moving to the Delta Town and Country Hotel site near the Massey Tunnel in 2020. The BC Lottery Corporation rubber stamped that last fall. This is the BC Lottery Corporation under the NDP, helping get a casino out of part of Surrey, the part of Surrey that Harry Baines, the Minister of Labour, represents, and send it to Delta. The Gateway Casino Company, before the ban was made for corporate and union donations to political parties, they gave the NDP about $77,000 over a 4-year period, and $4,000 of that actually went to Harry Baines and his campaigns. So here you have this, no matter how you look at it, it does not look good to have a cabinet minister go to a casino. However, this does not look as bad as some of the other aspects that happened under the BC Liberals. It doesn't excuse the NDP in this at all, but just put it into context. February 2017, in the run-up to the provincial election, you had Transportation Minister Todd Stone, and you had Steve Darling, who was running in one of the Burnaby ridings. He held a pre-election fundraiser at the Grand Villa Casino, The charge to get in was $175 to $5,000. And of course, in 2015, the very tawdry event that happened at the River Rock Casino Resort, Mike DeYoung, longtime Abbotsford MLA, held a charity roast for himself. Mike DeYoung at the time was the finance minister, who was also the minister in charge of regulating casinos. So there you had the regulator, the top regulator in the province for casinos, at a casino where he held a charity roast for himself, a long way from his riding. And, Christy Clark was there and others were there, celebrating Mike DeYoung. But no one was standing back and saying, is this right? Should the regulator of casinos be, having fun at a casino in that fashion, making himself the star of the stage for a night because he may be called upon to regulate that casino? And the evidence the NDP has put forward to the public since they came into power shows that, in fact, Mike DeYoung was not doing a very good job of regulating casinos because of the tens of millions of dollars of dirty money that was flowing in, money that was arriving in plastic bags, money that was arriving in hockey bags. And we've seen some other criminal and civil actions that have connected the dirty money with casinos and with the other aspects of criminality. So is this the thin edge of the wedge? Are we going to see more NDP cabinet minister fundraisers at casinos, or is this a one-off? Or between now, middle of March, and the third week of May, could someone in the NDP have some sober second thought and realize it was a bad idea to have a political fundraiser at a casino?
Did they pay to use that casino? Did the casino give them the space and time for free? Do we know any details like that?
Well, that is something that I'm trying to find out. That's something that they'll have to eventually report. That would actually be wrong and against the law for gateway casinos to give them in-kind donations because they're a corporation and you can't give cash or in-kind donations. So the NDP will have to pay for that space to hold that fundraiser. We'll have to pay for the food and drink. Elections BC, of course, would have a chance to ask even more questions under the law, and if they're not satisfied with the way the questions are answered, then they can take action themselves. So that is a good question, whether the Gateway Casino Company is giving the NDP, the party that regulates it, a sweetheart deal to hold a political fundraiser there. That's a very good question, and that's one of the questions I'll be asking even deeper when I get into doing some more follow-ups, unless, of course, there's enough public outcry from NDP members and non-members alike to remind the party of its responsibility to the public to be doing better as it promised in the 2017 election.
We'll have more with Bob Mackin right after this.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia, Saskatchewan, and the Yukon. Trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the pink symbol ABN-AF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, Recycling Trade Publications. Patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Bob Mackin. Bob, we have a UBC ex-board member charged in connection with this massive fraud where people were paying large amounts of money to get their kids' exams done for them by somebody else so they could get into pricey and namey universities. What do you have on this?
Well, this is a case that includes some actresses from Hollywood, but it also includes someone from Hollywood North, David Sadu, who is someone well known in sport and business circles. He was a Howe Street wheeler dealer back in the 90s and made a lot of money on oil and gas, and is someone who's given away a lot of his fortune to a lot of different charitable causes. He's someone who essentially bleeds blue and yellow. He's a major booster of the University of British Columbia, especially their football team. He played on the football team back when he was studying for his Bachelor of Physical Education degree. Back in the early 1980s, he was part of the team that won the Vanier Cup, one of the stars, one of the leaders of the team that won the Vanier Cup in 1982 in the undefeated season. And he has his name attached to the football field at UBC. He helped actually rejuvenate the program for 2015 when it won the Vanier Cup. Found a way to bring some Canadian players back to Canada and put them on the UBC Thunderbirds team, gave them better resources, tried to give them better educational resources too. And here's a guy that is alleged by United States authorities to have paid $100,000 for his older son and $100,000 for his younger son to have someone else write their college admissions examinations for the United States so they could get into universities in the United States. He paid a premium. This big booster of UBC paid a premium so that his kids didn't have to go to UBC. The optics of that, again, are a little bit off the wall. The optics, of course, aren't the issue here as much as the criminal allegations that the United States authorities allege that David Sadu committed mail fraud and wire fraud, conspiracy to commit mail fraud and wire fraud by paying to have someone else write the exams for his sons, both who attended St. George's boys' school in Vancouver. One of his sons went to University of California, Berkeley. Another son went to Chapman University in Orange County, and later transferred to one of the other universities in Los Angeles. And David Sadu is now among dozens of people who were caught in this massive scheme, alleged scheme to get kids into elite universities, either by paying for people to cheat on exams or to pay bribes. This also involved various athletic teams as well. And this is going to play out over the months to come, and we're going to find out more about the evidence that there is. The lawyer for David Sadu was trying to play up his charitable and philanthropic endeavors, but also reminding people that there is the presumption of innocence. That is true. Although I found it interesting that the statement from the lawyer, who's based in Las Vegas, didn't say my client is innocent and is going to fight these charges. It basically said, hey, he's remind people of the presumption of innocence. So the allegations are serious, and the very little evidence we've seen in the indictments are lend credence to them. But we'll see what the U.S. authorities put in front of a judge, and we'll see what kind of defense that David Sadu has there as well. He'll need a substantial defense in order to get him out of these charges, because the allegations right now are very serious, and it puts a cloud over his sons that they may have gained admission to two universities and furthered their careers, got seats in universities that others could have and should have got, because someone else wrote the exams for them. That's the allegation that's contained here. And this will be one that people will watch very closely, especially since someone like David Sadu is someone who is very active in the community, someone who actually was on the board of governors at UBC from 2014 to 2017. He was put on the board of UBC by the provincial Liberal government, by Premier Christy Clark at the time. He was actually given the Order of British Columbia in 2016. And, he also went to Ottawa and went to the Prime Minister's office, took the Vanier Cup there. He's someone who's very proud of his achievements, proud of playing in the Canadian Football League, and proud of donating so much money as he did to various causes around Vancouver. But now that might all be undone because of the allegations that the United States authorities have made to him. He was arrested in San Jose, put up $1 million bond through a cashier's check that was deposited with the court clerk in Boston, so that he could travel from San Jose to Boston to face those charges on March 15th. That's when his court date is, and his lawyer has said that he's going to plead not guilty.
Now, was there any indication that university officials were bribed in any way to accept some of these kids?
That's the allegation on these other matters as well, that there were people that were actually paying bribes to get onto athletic teams, that were using various other creative means through purported charities so they could get tax write-offs and to support the schools and to convince athletic directors and other administrators to let people in to universities to get athletic scholarships. This looks bad on a number of elite schools from the academic standpoint and from the athletic standpoint. And what we'll also see out of this, I'm sure, we'll see some sort of reform in the administration of admissions, testing, admissions. Some of this would have been pretty easy to head off if there hadn't been the ability for people to allegedly falsify identification in order to write these tests. The system isn't properly working to ensure that the right people are taking the right tests and the right people's test results are actually the keys that are unlocking the door to education at elite schools. So this is going to be interesting to watch on so many levels, not just the people that are involved and the charges that are at play, but also that the system apparently does not function properly.
We'll have more with Bob Mackin right after this.
Cypress Development Corp's flagship lithium project is located just east of Albemarle's Silver Peak mine in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. A 12-hole exploration drill program for lithium-enriched claystone on Cypress's 100% controlled properties is now underway. Cypress Development Corp trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the Pink's CYDVF, and on Frankfurt's C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Bob Mackin. Bob, the Whitecaps have gone to court to try to keep their deal with BC Place secret. Is that the case?
Yes, indeed. I've been for a number of years just trying to find out whether the playing field is level at BC Place Stadium for taxpayers and for the tenants, to find out if the two anchor tenants, the BC Lions of Canadian Football League and the Vancouver Whitecaps of Major League Soccer, if they're paying fair market rent to play in this important public facility, a public-owned facility which was built with taxpayer dollars in 1983 for $126 million, and then in 2011 it reopened after extensive renovations, $514 million, more than $500 million of renovations, which included a new retractable roof. Neither the Whitecaps nor the Lions contributed to the capital cost. They didn't pay any money for the construction or for it to be outfitted for Canadian football or for Major League Soccer. They're benefiting from that, and I want to find out, are they paying fair market rent? And what are the clauses in these contracts? And do these contracts favor the private owners of the teams? Or, again, is it a level playing field? Both of these teams have suffered attendance drops in recent years. They've also not delivered the best product to the field to cause people to want to dig in their pockets in this expensive city to lay out the money to see them. They're both very well televised. So the 2015, the Lions finally gave a copy of their contract after going through this appeals process through the Information Privacy Commissioner. They decided to adhere to the order from the Information Privacy Commissioner's office. Just this week, the Vancouver Whitecaps decided not to. They took another avenue, as they do have the right to do, to seek a judicial review. They want a judge in BC Supreme Court to look at the case, and they want a judge to overturn the decision. The decision was to give me a copy of the amended contract that the Whitecaps have with BC Place Stadium, the Crown-owned stadium. And I had been given a ruling back at the end of January from the Information Privacy Commissioner's office, their adjudicator, that said that the public has a right to see this, that when a public body, part of a government, does a deal with a private company, the public, who ultimately owns the government, has a right to see the deal to make sure that the public facility is being properly managed and properly monetized, and that the cash is coming in to balance the cash going out, that it is a fair deal, and that a government is not actually subsidizing a private enterprise. The Whitecaps in that case, which took a long time to go from the written inquiry stage to the decision stage, they had pleaded that the Freedom of Information law should actually protect private companies that do business with the government. Well, there are sections of the law that do purport to protect the interests of third party information, personal information, third party trade secrets. There is a wide, vast amount of law that says that that if there can be no harm, proven, that commercial arrangements between a private actor and the government need to be made public. That's the way it was with the BC Lions and their contract. And again, this is important because the public owns BC Place Stadium. It traditionally loses money. Last year, it lost about $12 million. $8.5 million of that was money that was put up to pay the Musqueam Indian Band for their accommodation agreement regarding the new Park Casino. But more than $3 million of that, red ink, was by money lost in managing and opening BC Place. So the taxpayers lost. That's $3 million that the taxpayers lost. That's $3 million that could have gone somewhere else. That's $3 million that could have gone to community soccer fields. $3 million could have gone to hospitals, to schools. So these are private companies in an industry that can make money, but is not, for some reason, here in Vancouver. That it appears that both the Whitecaps and Lions are benefiting from very low rental fees, unless they make the playoffs. When they make the playoffs, that's when the big prices kick in, and that's why they have to raise their ticket prices if they make the playoffs, which they don't normally do. So the question is, who does this really benefit, and why are the contracts the way they are, and why can't the public see the contract? And, the Whitecaps' position is that the public doesn't have a right to see it because they're a private company, and that they're in a competitive environment, and that, they should be able to keep it secret. Whereas I countered with an argument that said, well, you're the only Major League Soccer team in this region, granted by your league. You're playing in the only stadium that is suitable for this. The only stadium that is suitable for your soccer is the BC Place Stadium. It happens to be owned by the public, and the public has a right to see. The public has a right to know that the public facility is being properly paid for the goods and services that it sells to the private company. So we wait. I'm confident that a judge will look at this and look at all the facts and look at the vast body of legal precedents before and realize that the public still has a right to know about the contract negotiated between the Whitecaps and BC Pavilion Corporation, because that's the other aspect of it. These contracts are negotiated, and the law has said that when contracts are negotiated, then the public also has a right to know versus supplied information. Now, this was negotiated on behalf of the public, and on behalf of the public, the manager and the owner of this, on behalf of the public, is BC Pavilion Corporation. It should be noted that they did not contest this decision by the Information Privacy Commissioner. They are, along with the Information Privacy Commissioner and me, respondents in this action by the Whitecaps, which eventually will be heard in court. And they'll be arguing, or at least putting forward their case about why they did not contest this. And I think they didn't contest this for a good reason, because they've lost so many times before. And again, this cost them. This is a new era right now in BC Place and BC Pavilion Corporation, because you've got a new sheriff in town essentially since 2017. When the government changed, so did eventually the board of directors of BC Pavilion Corporation. You now have Ian Aikenhead as the chair of BC Pavilion Corporation. He's the former president of the PNE. Back in the 1990s, he was the president of the PNE, and he brings to that position into the board of directors something that others didn't bring in the past, which is experience in managing a public venue for sports and entertainment events. So you've got someone in there with some understanding of how things work, because he's gone through this before. And you also have some pressure from the NDP and a mandate letter that was issued to him, basically marching orders from the minister in charge to find new sources of revenue and to find ways of bringing this asset into at least break even. And that's what they're trying to do. They announced recently they're putting the naming rights for BC Place Stadium on sale again, and they're taking bids from companies who are willing to put some money into BC Place in exchange for putting their name on BC Place. That could be decided sometime in the summer about the change of BC Place's name and how much money can be brought in. Naming rights agreements have come and gone in various venues, and we had the BC Place Stadium scandal back in 2012 when the BC Liberals decided to cancel an agreement with TELUS, in part because one of their competitors, Bell, is the major sponsor of the Whitecaps. And there was other things going on behind the scenes over the procurement of the BC government's telecommunications contract, which went to TELUS. So you had other telecommunications companies that were complaining about the naming rights, and first and foremost was Bell, the Whitecaps sponsor, and the BC government decided to forego the contract and leave it as BC Place Stadium and suck up the cost. We were charged $15.2 million to compensate TELUS for all the goods and services, all the work that they did to put in the video screens and put in the Wi-Fi and other technology into BC Place. That was supposed to be part of their sponsorship deal. The 20-year, $40 million sponsorship deal included goods and services. Well, they didn't get their name on the stadium, but they did get a check from the province to pay for the work that they did. So here you have BC Place Stadium, which has been a constant point of controversy over the years. And the latest controversy is that one of the tenants doesn't want the public to know how much it's paying to play in the stadium. That is a very big cost for the public. A stadium that does, when it is and can be run properly, can be a benefit for the public because it can bring in tourism dollars. But again, if it's losing money, that's money that can't go elsewhere in the economy. That's money that can't go elsewhere into social services, and schools, and housing.
Bob, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
My guest has been award-winning investigative reporter Bob Mackin, publisher of thebreaker.news. You're listening to the Goddard Report on TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Find us on Twitter at TalkDigitalNet. Our YouTube channel, Talk Digital Network. If you have any questions for Bob or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@howstreet.com. I'm Jim Goddard. Thanks for listening.
Comments made on the Goddard Report and TalkDigitalNetwork.com are an expression of opinion only. The Goddard Report is available online and mobile at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. The Goddard Report is a production of How Street Media Incorporated.